Good morning, everybody. We're here with another edition of The Morning Mint. So excited. We're going to have some great guests on today's show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we've got three folks joining us today, which I'm thrilled about. We're going to go over the market, talk about what's happening around town, So, as per usual, Monday is Manhattan Monday. So, hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi, we made it. All four.
We made it. Look at this. So, we have a all-star cast this morning on the Morning Mint. As a reminder, the Morning Mint is Triple Mint's daily real estate show where you get a little bite-size look at the real estate market, what's happening around town, and you get to hear some expert opinions. We have three rock stars, Joan Kagan, Godin, and Jed Lewin, all agents at Triple Mint, all deeply experienced in the Manhattan market, and here to drop some knowledge on this Monday morning. So,
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. Very exciting. So, first thing that I want to talk about is we've probably all been reading, right? New York Times had a big article that stock market hitting records despite low jobs numbers. What does that mean for the real estate market? Jed, I'm looking at you first.
Yeah, I think there's still some uncertainty in the job market, but there seems to be agreement that what we should be really looking for is time and actual improvement in the jobs numbers rather than playing them against the forecasts from Wall Street. So there's a big difference between what the market will expect the jobs to do and how many people are actually going back to work. So it looks like right now we're heading towards a sort of a Goldilocks recovery where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and that's okay. That's good enough for the stock market, especially with bond yields going down.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And another headline we should all be aware of, April was the best month for new condo sales contracts in 5 years. Joan, what does this mean for people interested in the real estate market in New York City?
So I think there are a number of reasons why new dev condos are hot. So partly we do have a lot of product available, and if you're looking for a new home, a lot of the product available is new dev. Also, because there are a couple of issues doing construction right now, people tend to prefer something that is like spanking new in brand new condition, and they don't have to do any work. So we do have supply chain issues. It is difficult to get some appliances. I heard that wood is difficult to come by. So those issues make construction difficult. And also the Department of Buildings is backlogged from the pandemic. So that also takes a little bit longer to get your plans approved. So the idea of having something that's move-in ready is really attractive right now.
That's great. And yes, to all those wondering about the rumors, I can tell you from firsthand experience doing a little bit of work that lumber is up something like 200%. So no, your contractor is not lying to you.
300% year over year.
300? Well, there you go. I bought my lumber 2 months ago, so maybe I got lucky. Chloe, Realtor reported that there are more Manhattan luxury contracts signed in 2020 so far than in 2021 than all of 2020. What does this mean?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And just this morning, the Ocean report came out, and she said that 5th week in a row, we've had over 40 contracts signed over $4 million. I mean, it just shows the confidence that buyers have in the market, and people, last 12 weeks, there was 12 weeks in a row, or 14 weeks in a row, of 30 or more contracts signed, 4 million and above. It shows that people who believe in New York, they want to stay in New York or come back. And it's been really great to see. I've really felt it in my business, and I'm sure Joan and Jed have, since February. It's a very different ballgame in New York City.
Yeah. And for anyone who is newer to looking at New York City market data, 4 million is generally what's considered the luxury market. So when you're reading all these reports and you see luxury, that's typically referring to 4 million and up.
And David, to put that into perspective, that 14-week number, the last time we had 14 weeks of 30 plus contracts signed in the luxury market was never. This has never happened before.
Yeah.
Since we started tracking this in 2006.
That could be the title of this episode of The Morning Mint. The last time we had that was never. That's great. Quick other thoughts and reactions. I mean, obviously the general, right, all the news that we're talking about here is sort of up and to the right? It's all good news. So if you're a seller today, right, you're listening to this episode of The Morning Mint, you're saying, great, amazing, right? I've been thinking about selling, maybe now's the perfect time. But let's get sort of practical and realistic. What are the kinds of conversations you're having with your sellers today? Joan, starting with you.
Great. So even though the market is very busy and active, we can sell your home quickly. You're not necessarily going to see a higher price point. So and we're at this stage right now where we were in lockdown last year. So when we look at stats from a year ago, it's not exactly meaningful. So when I'm talking to sellers and buyers, I'm saying pre-pandemic rather than year-over-year data, because our year-over-year data won't be meaningful for a little while. But in Manhattan, price per square foot is down approximately 3%, and sales, depending on your neighborhood, median sale price is down about 3%. So you're still not going to see the value of what your property was pre-pandemic, but you're going to be able to sell pretty quickly as long as you're priced reasonably and priced for the market.
Yeah. So a lot of these stats and records that we were going through then are telling us inventory is moving, but it doesn't mean it's all moving at record prices. Is that fair to say?
What I've been telling sellers is we're seeing like tons of activity with lots of demand, which would lead you to believe that pricing would go higher as demand increases. We also have really high supply. A lot of people are putting their properties on the market, people who are kind of like waiting to see what would happen when the market was a little bit more in flux. So for that reason, we're not quite seeing the property increases, but our data is also 3 months old. So what's going into contract now, we're not going to see the sale price for at least 3 months. So we might, in 3 months, we might be seeing higher prices.
And as a reminder to everyone, that's because the final sale prices in New York City don't come out until they're recorded, and that's usually roughly 3 months later in terms of when you're looking at reports and gathering information. Thank you very much. Chloe, what kind of conversations are you having with your sellers?
Yeah, so sellers, it really depends on the submarket. For example, 2-bedroom co-ops in the Upper West Side, it's a very strong seller market. There's not enough inventory out there. And Joan and I were discussing it last week. I have a listing coming on the market in a few weeks, and how to get her buyers in there. So we're really seeing a huge demand. So really look at your submarket, find out your numbers, be prepared. As we mentioned before, your home has to be move-in ready as much as possible. So we're doing work before we hit the market. There's a whole strategy behind that, making sure that it's beautiful and ready to move in. And really know your numbers of your submarket. Talk to your broker and get that statistic so you can know where to position yourself. I'm also talking about days on market. Right now, I was mentioning it before, days on market overall is at 65, which is extremely low. It was 120 at the height of COVID. And just to put it in perspective, in 2015, which was kind of the height of the market, 2015-16, it was around 50 days. So we're really getting close to that number. People are buying, as Joan mentioned before. If it's priced right, the apartment looks great, you will be able to sell. So if you've been thinking of selling, this is the right moment to list it. I wouldn't wait another 3 to 6 months, because then there may be a surplus of inventory.
Yeah. I'm glad you said submarkets too, because this is Manhattan Mondays. But one of the things I always recommend to sellers is think about when you were buying, right? Would you really compare these two areas equally, right? When they're sort of looking at a comp that they like to prove a thesis. And it's so important to remember, just a couple of blocks in New York City is a totally different market. So, Jed, same question. What kind of conversations are you having with your sellers today?
Yeah, I think what Chloe said actually reminded me a lot of the conversations I've been having recently, which is helping sellers put themselves in the mindset of the buyer. And the most important thing right now in a market like this one is sort of to detach the seller's view of the list price as a statement of value and reposition it as a marketing tool. It's your single most important and your first marketing tool. So how you price the listing needs to be geared towards how to bring the most buyers in as quickly as possible, because you don't want to be sitting there on the market. The other thing I've been telling people is we're not really sure if this kind of like outpaced demand is going to keep up over the summer.
Yeah.
It may. My feeling is there's a lot of people who are waiting to travel, and the summer's going to slow down. So I think, try and catch lightning in a bottle, get the apartment, if it is ready, get the apartment on the market today.
I love it. And I'm sure everyone's been reading some of the stats about airlines and bookings going way up. And that lends some, strong credence to the theory that people are desperate for that passed over trip or vacation. All right. So we are going to do a double rapid fire round. We're going to start with the numbers, and we're going to end with the fun stuff. So we're going to go around the horn. I'm going to say, what's the one stat, everybody, that you are talking to with buyers or sellers? Give us the one stat you're thinking about in real estate this week, Jed.
In new developments, contract signed for the week ending May 8th. Last year, we had 1. This year, we had 43.
Joan.
There were more than 1,600 new contracts signed in April, and that's a record high, and it's 8% higher than the number of contracts that were signed in March, and that was also a record high. What that means for buyers specifically is if you're coming to look at property, you need to be ready to submit your offer. You don't have a lot of time to consider it. You need to have your mortgage pre-approval letter. You need to have your asset and liability statements ready. You need to have a buyer ready to submit with an offer and be prepared to submit a competitive offer.
Great. Chloe.
652 contracts signed this year for luxury properties over 4 million. And that's more than all of last year, but also more importantly, 2019, it was 812. So let's skip pandemic and look at the year before, which was a good year. I mean, this is it. I think people were waiting for 3 years, looking to see where the market was going to settle. It was picking up just before COVID, and now people are ready to go.
Undeniable amount of activity and action in the market. Thank you. And finally, we'll end on something fun. Same group, reverse direction. We're same format, reverse direction. What is the thing that you're excited about that's happening around town in NYC? Chloe.
Oh, the Frieze Art Fair is coming up 2021 in Hudson Yard. It's starting on May 14th. So the Frieze Art Fair is an art fair that's in London, in New York, and in Los Angeles since 2012. So guys, go and check it out, Hudson Yards.
All right. Love it. Joan.
So everyone is saying that they miss live music and live performances. So Lincoln Center tonight is launching Restart Stages, which will be on all summer long. They have 10 different all outdoor venues. They're going to have 150 performances throughout the summer. They're all free. You just have to register in advance. And they've just redone the Lincoln Center Plaza. It is covered in grass, and that's going to be the signature outdoor venue. So and it's right near me, so I'm very excited.
Awesome. I love it. Free is a great ticket price.
Yes.
Jed, what are you
They do
excited
ask for a donation, so be generous and donate. Yeah.
Good message.
I love the Macy's annual flower show. It's been going on since last week. It dates back to 1964. It started in San Francisco, and our flagship store here in Herald Square began doing it in the 70s. People look forward to it every year. It's just the best flower show. The 2002 was considered like the hallmark, but everyone is saying that 2021, the theme this year is Give, Love, Bloom. go check it out. It runs through Sunday at Macy's.
Amazing. I love it. Will 2021 be the new standard setter in flower shows? All right. Thank you to Chloe, Joan, Jed. What a wonderful time this morning speaking with all of you about the real estate market. I'm David Walker, the co-founder and CEO of Triple Mint. And thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Mint. Cheers.
Thank you, David.
Have a great
Have a
week,
great day,
everyone.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.